This is Sybert signing into Unsound Investment and the best of 7 finals of the Championship 2v2 tournament, hosted by GameReplays.org, and of course, the $500 prize pool is put up by Scott O'Neill. Both of these teams have made it to the final. Who will claim $150? Who will claim $300? One team walks away with literally double the income. In the top half of the map, we have Team dgaf, or FFU. One half of that team, Pink Traveler 59, going for a Descent Rush. This is MasterLeaf. On the other half, we do have Yellow Blackhand. This is DirtyDutch. While in the south, making up one half of Team BikeBert, this is Wookibert. He's blue, he is not. And on the other side, Red Blackhand, this is BikeRushOwnz. I didn't really look at the bracket very much, but given the usual suspects who show up to tournaments, it's not a surprise that these are the finals. MasterLeaf, DirtyDutch, BikeRush, Wookibert. Not a big surprise. Wookibert going for a bit of a shadow team rush. Looks like he ended up losing a couple of units out of that squad. A bit unfortunate, but he will have still enough bombs to take down power plants, which is quite annoying. Descents. Unfortunately for MasterLeaf, getting completely owned by those shadow teams. We have ourselves a bit of a double War Factory bike buggy all in. Coming in from BikeRushOwnz, he's going right for MasterLeaf. He does want to play late game versus Trav 59. It's very difficult to beat MasterLeaf late game against all sorts of cultists, Eradicator, Hexpod, Prodigy, and other tricks that he has up his sleeves. They're going to be focusing on MasterLeaf first. BikeRushOwnz and Wookibert could then deal with DirtyDutch. But it does require them to actually get in here and do some damage. BikeRushOwnz going to be pulling bikes over to the right side of the map to help deal with DirtyDutch. A couple of rocket squads going to be getting pumped on out. A couple of bikes already here for DirtyDutch, going to be pushing away BikeRushOwnz. And knowing that this attack is coming is very important. It's just single refinery, double harvester economy for BikeRushOwnz. That's what he's going to be looking to survive on. And if anyone has a good opportunity at stopping this attack, it's definitely going to be MasterLeaf and DirtyDutch. Bike buggy from both sides, shredding each other a little bit here as Wookibert going to be pushing forward with BikeRushOwnz in tandem. A double attack moving in on MasterLeaf. And does he actually have all that much to really deal with this? Well, the answer thus far is no. He did go for tech. He did go for a nerve center. He's most likely not going to be dropping a tier 3 just yet, unfortunately for him. He's just trying to scramble, get out some forces, and maybe he was hoping to drop down a lightning spike somewhere, but MasterLeaf has been defeated. It's just going to be up to DirtyDutch, who has also been defeated, and with a quick 0-1 lead, Team BikeBert is looking good in the finals. Of course, with a best of 7, there's always the opportunity for a comeback, but MasterLeaf and DirtyDutch have got their work cut out for them if they're going to make it home with the $300. Wookibert and BikeRush, can they close it out? That was 3 minutes and 46 seconds. Not a long game, but this is just the beginning. Let's jump into game number 2, which takes us to Forgotten Forest. On the left side, Team BikeBert, one half, the blue black hand, this is Wookibert. His ally in the northern position, red black hand, this is BikeRushOwnz. On the right half of the map, Team dgaf, probably going for Descent Rush. No, maybe just a couple of engineers. No, it is a Descent Rush. This is MasterLeaf, purple Traveler 59. And his ally going refinery first as yellow black hand. This is DirtyDutch. The last time we saw this particular map, it was indeed in the semifinals. Both teams ended up playing it. And BikeRush and Wookibert lost on this map. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen the semifinals, but I don't know why you're watching the finals. If you haven't seen the semifinals and you don't want spoilers, you either don't care about spoilers or you've already seen them. In which case, BikeRush and Wookibert lost their only game that they dropped that series on this map. MasterLeaf and DirtyDutch started their 3-0 win streak on this map. Can they do it again? Now in that game, the descents weren't so much used to dive in and kill harvesters and try to do things that way. Instead, they were used to kill off the stib spike and then not really do too much else frontline aggression things. They were pulled back a little bit, used to just run around the map here and there. He was probably keeping an eye on his opponent. MasterLeaf was probably looking for those opportunities, but if he didn't see them, he didn't overcommit. He didn't try to get the kills that he knew he wasn't going to get. In this case, he's just going to pick off a couple of buggies. As long as the buggies aren't in high numbers, descents will shred through the buggies, but in this particular case, Team BikeBert has certainly more than enough buggies. Wookibert going to be pressing on forward with quite a few buggies, and bikes from BikeRush going to be meeting up as well. It's a tandem attack. Bikes and buggies from both players moving in. Isn't another double war factory all in? Yep, BikeRush is going back to his old tricks. He knows how to make series seem very, very similar game to game. And this particular one, it's all about buggies for Wookibert, all about bikes for BikeRush. Going to be looking to take down DirtyDutch's harvesters. DirtyDutch with the control around the war factory won't be enough. And certainly this harvester will go down, right? Yes, it ends up going down. He nearly saves it there in what would have been a very surprising move, as on the other side, we do have MasterLeaf going to be dealing with a lot of the buggies coming out for Wookibert. And Wookibert actually not doing very much in that attack. I mean, one harvester was killed by BikeRush, and I'm not actually sure if that's enough considering the bikes that he would have had to trade out. It's double MCV cell from these guys. They lost one of the tib spikes, which is certainly very annoying, and the longer this game goes on, the more that is actually going to be affecting them, as that missing income will become very important. Now, of course, it's double war factory, which means Team BikeBert always has the opportunity, and in fact, Wookibert is already doing it, to rebuild their MCVs and to take this into a more standard game and not just end on immediately tier 1 tech, you know, no natural expansion, no nothing. It doesn't have to just be one base play from here. It can diverge. It can go into a more standard game. Double portal. MasterLeaf loves his portals. We've seen him do crazier things with triple portal and really commit to this descent stuff. In this particular case, he's not selling his MCV. He sells the portals instead. And keeping at home a couple of descent squads wouldn't be a bad idea. We'll have to see if he actually decides to do that. The MCV being rebuilt by Wookibert. And is it actually being rebuilt by MasterLeaf or by BikeRush as well? No, it's just Scorpion tanks for now. Coming out from BikeRush. Descent's going to be charging out their way across the map. They're going to be running into one Cabal squad. No problem there. Of course, with upgrades, then Black Disciples would be a lot more powerful. But for now, Wookibert just trying to drop down Shredder turrets. And will he actually have enough? The answer thus far is probably yes, but maybe if the Seeker tanks could get up front to actually do some tanking, they'd be able to do something other than just look awkward behind the descents. And for now, MasterLeaf is being beaten back. If he can take refuge in the tib field, he'll be able to regain a little bit of HP on those descents. However, DirtyDutch going to be expanding on down south, and MasterLeaf going to be running guard for that MCV with his descents. If they can establish their economy in the south significantly faster than their opponents, then they'll be just skyrocketing ahead in bigger and bigger ways. But for now, MasterLeaf remains on just one refinery economy. DirtyDutch, the only one on 2 refinery economy, and he's not even fully saturated, although he is at 4 in 2, which is almost perfect saturation, but you need that extra 5th harvester to really line things up. Descent's going to be taking a fair bit of damage, and again, MasterLeaf doing something somewhat similar to what he did in the previous series, where he's just got descents all over the map. Even a couple of bikes heading out for DirtyDutch, as he is going to be transferring a harvester or 2 down south. He's going to be looking to set up that eco down there and really power him forward into the mid part of this game. keeping BikeBert contained in the northern half of the map, or even if in this little quadrant, if they can stop them from expanding at all, is a good way to just bleed them out and win the game in a little bit longer fashion and not necessarily have to worry about pushing in right this very second and absolutely killing them right now. And of course, some of these descent squads going to be kind of charging up their veterancy a little bit here. They're going to be getting up to that elite status. Can they actually go all the way to heroic? 2 refineries now down for MasterLeaf. He's got that income rolling as a 3rd refinery getting established in the south for both members of Team DGAF-AFU. I'm never going to be able to say that name properly. BikeRushOwnz, where is he actually heading with his MCV? Wait, no way. BikeRush didn't... There we go. He did not sell his MCV. I was like, did he really rebuild his MCV to sell it like a minute later? That seems a little bit silly to me. BikeRush going to be pushing out with Scorpions in the north, Bike Buggy in the south, his MCV in the middle as he drops down. A hand of nod from Wookibert, and they're looking to just put on more one-base pressure. They've still got a couple of minutes of Tiberium left on their field, but as the, double economy essentially starts rolling for the team that actually knows how to expand, they're going to be able to overwhelm BikeBert. And BikeBert has a bit of a clock on them. They really need to do damage now, and they need to be able to just almost kill Team DGAF. And that is going to be a tall order. Lots of gunwalkers here on the front line. Scorpion takes being pulled back for BikeRushOwnz, and he's looking for some sort of angle to actually take an engagement. Wookibert not being a huge help, unfortunately, as BikeRush has been defeated. Wookibert has been defeated, and the all-in, the double all-in, did not work for Team BikeBert. They do fall, making this series 1-1 and evening up this best of 7. Heading into game number 3, these two teams are tied. The all-ins will not reign supreme from BikeBert. They instead will be stopped, at least in game number 2. Now, will BikeBert try the same thing again and again for the remainder of these games? That could be the story. How does Team DGAF-FU deal with the all-in? When you're up against BikeRush in a final, sometimes that's the only question you have to ask yourself, and it's often a very difficult question to answer. But we're heading into game number 3. And boy, oh boy, if there was a map to continue the all-in charade on, this would be it. Spawning on the left side as the orange black hand, this is MasterLeaf. In the south, making up the other half of Team DGAF-FU, this is DirtyDutch. Yellow, black hand. While in the north, the blue black hand, representing one half of BikeBert, this is Wookibert. As just an EMP control center, no real reason to necessarily commit to scouting or to too many cabals. On the right side, rounding out BikeBert, this is BikeRushOwnz. Red, black hand. It's a 4-way black hand game. That's right. And of course, you can delay your scouting on this map a little bit. As long as you've got cabals, you're still going to be able to get there in pretty reasonable amount of time. And I'm assuming MasterLeaf tried to do that trick where you actually throw grenades a little bit further than you would, well, in some case, not a little bit, but further than you'd ordinarily be able to throw, and the scout from every player going to be the buggy is so important. Is BikeBert going to double War Factory all in? You need to know that the answer to that question early. You need to know it so you can prepare. You need to know it so that you can try to mount some sort of defense. And of course, the ordinary kind of thing about a 1v1 is you don't have a nice teammate to support you while the all-in is coming. Is BikeRush actually going to hold that War Factory, or is he going, no, he's going Refinery? That is the deal. It's Refinery. It's macro play. Pretty standard thus far from both teams. This map tends to turn, well, in many cases can turn into a lot of all-ins just because rush distance is pretty short. You got one main base here, and then whoop, you're already at the other main base. BikeRushOwnz, that's actually kind of surprising. He is going to be expanding a little bit backwards towards the, safe expansion. Sometimes he just goes full gung-ho and he tries to take, like, his opponent's natural expansion. He's like, nah, I got this. And he just goes super aggressive mode. which is almost what I would expect. But in this particular case, it looks like most players are actually just going to be expanding towards their own sort of natural, not kind of their opponent's natural. Wookibert is not moving his MCV just yet, powering up that economy. Still going to be up to potentially 5 harvesters in just a moment. There we go, 2 and 5, looking good. Oh, and the tables have turned. There's the MCV cell. What is he going to do with the engineer? Potentially sneak it around the side of the map, or maybe he really wants the EMP control center, which, you know, in like 20 minutes would actually be ready to fire off and could actually be a very powerful option. Cabal going to be coming in for... Huh. All right. So we got double MCV cell. Is that really what's going on right now? As Wookibert is going to be getting the eyes on his opponent. He's going to be like, all right, MasterLeaf is going pretty hardcore, all in. I need to drop a second War Factory. He's got pretty solid eco set up. And no, everyone just sold their MCVs. So, yeah, it's just double refinery, double War Factory, MCV cell, pretty much all in. Except for, apparently... Huh. Is he really just going one War Factory? I don't know if he's going to be able to spend all of his money efficiently. But in this case, DirtyDutch has a lot of BikeRush forces to deal with. Of course, bikes coming out one at a time is not very useful. MasterLeaf is definitely either going to need to just kill Wookibert right now, or he has to try to turn around and take a bunch of damage from Wookibert and then save his teammate. Wookibert versus MasterLeaf, who will actually win? DirtyDutch has been defeated. MasterLeaf will have a little bit of an eco boost because of that, but he does still have to play a 2v1 against BikeRush and Wookibert, which is going to be very difficult. And unfortunately for MasterLeaf, he's going to be losing the last couple of harvesters from DirtyDutch. This one actually does end up surviving there, but won't be able to harvest any of its actual Tiberium, won't be able to refine any of that to be useful. Instead, Wookibert is going to be pulling back. He's got a huge Scorpion tank army, which is going to be difficult for MasterLeaf to deal with. And, of course, Team BikeBert with a huge advantage can hit from multiple angles if they so choose. MasterLeaf steps forward. He steps into a big Scorpion tank concave. And, of course, not all of MasterLeaf's forces were actually firing at the same time, while Wookibert was able to just sit here and deal out the damage. Now, a little bit of a flank coming in for MasterLeaf. Is he going to be able to actually do enough damage with reinforcements right on the front line? It's going to be hard. MasterLeaf taps out. GG. Team BikeBert takes a 2-1 lead. And this is a best of 7. They're not at match point advantage just yet. But that 2-1 lead feels so good, as MasterLeaf and DirtyDutch will drop game number 3 in just over 5 minutes. And not much else to say other than that, as Black Hand is very predominantly featured in this particular tournament. We've seen it in all of the series, and we've seen 4-way Black Hand a couple of times, so let's jump into game number 4, which takes us to Hurricane Lands. Game number 4, the team that is up 2-1 on the left side, representing Team BikeBert, the red Black Hand. This is BikeRushOwnz. Just to the east of him, representing the other half, orange Black Hand. No orange nod, rather. This is Wookibert. While in the north, not going to Descent Rush despite being purple and Traveler 59, this is MasterLeaf. Maybe he wants to get to that powerful Traveler late game just a little bit earlier on the very right side. The man in the east. Black Hand, yellow, DirtyDutch. Does MasterLeaf indeed want to play just really macro-oriented, get to that late game, get to that Traveler army, and really just put out, you know, Annihilator tripods, of course, Eradicator hexapod, teleportation, phasing, all of those wonderful things, which can be very difficult to deal with. However, Black Hand and Nod have lots of EMP at their disposal. They've got EMP options for the late game to help them deal with those Traveler and, well, also Black Hand options. So, could be looking at a very long game, although if Team BikeBert wants to gain an early match point advantage, take themselves up to 3-1 with a potential for a 4-1, they could all in. They are moving their MCVs. They haven't dropped additional power plants or war factories just yet. So, can they play macro? The answer is looking to be yes. Even DirtyDutch dropping double refinery, not war factory, and moving his MCV down south, being a little bit annoyed by Wookibert, as that buggy is just kind of trying to bug out the MCV. MasterLeaf heading his drone ship over. He wants to expand to the west, while Wookibert gets his eco up and rolling over on the east. Pretty nice sized Tiberium fields, while BikeRush and DirtyDutch get 2 Tiberium fields that are a little bit smaller. Can be a little bit annoying because if you place harvesters down here, then they're harvesting inefficiently here, so you kind of have to build them both places. And then, of course, here, once you harvest that little chunk, you're pretty much out of efficient harvesting space, but it's not too bad for sure. I'm maybe making a mountain out of a molehill. As DirtyDutch going to be moving on south with a couple of bike buggy, but MasterLeaf with a couple of gunwalkers going to be doing the same, just scoping out their opponents, looking to do a little bit of damage, parrying up a buzzer squad with that gunwalker just in case. DirtyDutch hasn't quite expanded just yet, going to be focusing more on building units for the current moment. Couple of seeker tanks, couple of gunwalkers poking in and investigating. It's up to tier 2 for MasterLeaf. He's got a lightning spike as well. War Factory coming down from BikeRushOwnz. And the first refinery going down for MasterLeaf. Going to be, just getting that eco up and rolling on the expansion. Always nice to be able to do. Not sure what that beacon... Oh, BikeRushOwnz. I mean, he doesn't... There's no way they have tier 3 yet. That would be a little bit silly, but no, he's actually going to be sending a Reckoner over to the right side of the map, which would be very nice for MasterLeaf and DirtyDutch to actually know about. Now, Wookibert going to be running a bit of a distraction force for that Reckoner. A little bit of bike buggy pushing in towards DirtyDutch and MasterLeaf. While right up the middle on the right side, almost up the middle of those 2 tib fields, is the Reckoner. Is he actually going to be going for the MCV? It's going to take a while to flame this down, but he has a pretty good opportunity since all of the forces are on the wrong part of the map. And at the same time, BikeRushOwnz is going to be taking a bit of damage from the Seeker tanks, as he's also going to be flaming down potentially the tier 2 and also... Oh, a couple of these cultist squads, as no, they do grab that flame tank, and oh, the MCV picks up. It is going to be saved just barely. The only real option for BikeRush is to try to eject out, and he may not even need to if Wookibert has any forces here to do that extra bit of DPS necessary to clean up the MCV of DirtyDutch. Goodbye, good night. It goes down, and there is a very nice Reckoner flame squad coming out from BikeRushOwnz, and Team BikeBert not doing too poorly. Flame tank going to be coming in. Of course, it was once owned by BikeRushOwnz. Now it was owned by MasterLeaf. And MasterLeaf doing that extra bit of damage with a couple of Seeker tanks. Not a lot. Not really doing crazy amounts, but shutting down the eco, it looks like. Maybe cleaning up a couple of harvesters would indeed be nice. Gets himself an elite Seeker tank, and it's still actually going to survive a little bit longer. Not actually being focused down. It should go down there to that rocket squad, and ooh, unfortunately for DirtyDutch, he doesn't have a whole lot going on. One of his harvesters even going to be just shutting down and not really doing anything just yet. Just kind of paused over here. Double War Factory from DirtyDutch, and of course he can supply himself with quite a few units on just one base economy. He doesn't have to worry about expanding at the present moment, but in 30 seconds to a minute, whenever that tib field actually dries up, he's going to be in a bit of a problem. Cultists heading to the front lines, Descent's also out here. Fast Leg's probably on the way for MasterLeaf, I imagine, as he does need to get those forces up here. He does need to be able to micro to the best of his ability, and those faster, more agile units will certainly help him do that. Economy for Wookibert starting to get underway. He hasn't harvested a huge amount of this Tiberium as he drops down that tier 2, potentially going to be going for some flame units or just teching up towards a Reckoner and tier 3, or excuse me, not a Reckoner, a Redeemer and tier 3. maybe eventually going for that epic unit as Fast Legs is finally done. Are there any cultists here for any potential mind control, as that could be very useful? The answer thus far is no, as that's a lot of Shredder Turrets getting thrown down. If this was an early game 1v1, that many Shredder Turrets might actually be worth it, just because you're forcing your opponent to build so much stuff that isn't units. But in this particular case, I don't know if it's actually worth it. Mines do get dropped down by, I'm assuming, yeah, it had to have been Wookibert. He's the only one with the mine drop, and he is going to be kind of presenting a bit of a problem. One Harvester does get grabbed by MasterLeaf. A very nice move there. Going to be denying BikeRush that actual income. Considering BikeRush doesn't have a whole lot of income, that is pretty darn important. He's just got his Harvesters over here, 4 of which not really doing a whole lot, while up here, not a lot of Harvesters doing very much. So yeah, 1 Harvester full of Tiberium, definitely an annoyance, but BikeRush is actually going to be getting it back. He just may not actually be able to get it back alive, as the Cultist squad is going to be going down. That Venom, no. Wow, Wookibert actually pulling off the Venom at about the last second there, and not actually going to be killing off the Cultist just yet. No, still not moving in to kill off that Cultist. Wow, he's actually just letting it escape. A couple of bikes going to be getting grabbed, and there we go. The Harvester is released. BikeRush gets his money back, but will he actually be able to escape? As DirtyDutch going to be pushing in here. He's going to be targeting down some of the Harvesters, and of course, Wookibert was focused so much on the other part of the map, he doesn't have a whole lot of forces here to deal with this attack, and that is, 5 or 6 bikes right there going to be targeting down Harvester after Harvester. 1 Venom does pop on out. Temporal drop going to be going here to slow down a lot of the infantry, and of course, MasterLeaf going to be looking to put out the damage with the Gunwalkers on top of that infantry. Goodbye Venom. That was probably the hero Venom that killed the Cultist squad that grabbed that Harvester, but unfortunately for MasterLeaf, he doesn't reclaim the Harvester. BikeRushOwnz may not have much of an ally here in a couple of moments if he loses all of his income. 1 Harvester does survive. DirtyDutch has been pushed back, and Wookibert does survive. He's still got 2 Harvesters there. He's still in this. It's not dire straits just yet. MasterLeaf swinging around with a couple of Mechapedes over by the protected nether regions of BikeRushOwnz could be a very good way to do some serious damage. FaZe does go down. Can he get the crushes, though, against these forces and let the Mechapedes actually do damage with other things, as he grabs a Militant squad? Quite a curious choice there, as not often do you see a Cultist actually grab a Militant squad and try to make something happen with it. As a beacon gets thrown down by BikeRushOwnz, he's like, hey, can you please kill these Cultists so that I don't keep getting wrecked by them? Phased Gunwalkers trying to go for the crush, not necessarily doing all that much, as Shardmech is going to be moving forward for MasterLeaf and looking to do that extra bit of damage. BikeRushOwnz dropping down that Hand of Nod, trying to help out his ally. BikeRushOwnz has actually been defeated. He says he's got nothing really left to deal with this, as DirtyDutch mustering up a fair few bikes to push forward and take down the economy. A 1v2, and Wookibert, can he do it? He calls all of his Harvesters over to that eastern field. Can he really push forward too much further? DirtyDutch with MasterLeaf buying enough time to just not have to worry about all that much. DirtyDutch able to rebuild his MCV, able to get himself out back into this game. And BikeRushOwnz just seceding to Wookibert and not going to be the other way around. So it's up to Wookibert to 2v1 against MasterLeaf and DirtyDutch, as DirtyDutch's bikes searching for more and more Harvesters. These are not necessarily the most important Harvesters, but killing Harvesters is pretty much always a nice thing to do. DirtyDutch are going to be getting pushed away. These Scorpion tanks moving in for the defense, and oh, can they actually do any more damage over here? The answer is most likely no, as DirtyDutch and MasterLeaf take game number 4, evening the score up 2-2. An evenly matched finals is what we have here, as BikeBert will fall out of that match. And the kind of macro-oriented game still didn't go that long, as that was not late game. That was, I mean, one player at least did have tier 3, but not much more than that. As BikeRush and Wookibert not able to make the magic happen. They might have to go back to all inning, as that seems to work a little bit better. Game number 5 is coming right up, which takes us to Alpine Valleys in the northern position. Making up one half of Team BikeBert, this is Red, Black, and BikeRushOwnz. In the top right, that's right, this is one of those FFA maps. We have Blue Nod going for another Shadow Team rush. Wookibert bottom side of the map, yellow, black hand, making up one half of Team DGAF Dirty Dutch. And purple, Traveler 59, going for a descent rush. This is MasterLeaf. When you're tied 2-2, what risks do you take in a best of 7? Well, one risk is, Shadow Team Rush, and that may... Whoa! Is he not actually going to grab that engineer? That would be great if he could. He does get the kill on the engineer, and of course, one of the descent squads may have taken a bit of damage, but the others have pretty much survived MasterLeaf. Oh, man. With that investment that Wookibert made, he desperately needs the defense against... Okay, he's got enough space here. He may be able to pick off a lot of these descents. There we go. Shadow teams are so freaking good, man. They are so good at killing infantry. No, not quite gonna be enough. Gonna be close, but not enough. Ooh, wow, militant squad. Never mind, they're militant squads. I thought it was something more exciting, I'm sorry. However, MasterLeaf and DirtyDutch, not necessarily going for anything too risky. BikeRush going for something a little bit riskier, a little bit more risky. And the reason why I ask, what risks do you take in a best of 7 where it's 2-2 is because if you take a risk that's too big and it doesn't pay off, your opponents suddenly have a very easy match point advantage. They're suddenly 3-1 up in a best of 7. Ooh, the fake out. The fake out from BikeRushOwnz. He's like, yeah, buddy, I'm all in you. Better prepare. Better drop a second war factory and hopefully try to all-in me so then I can just defend, go for an MCV, and then macro out of this or something like that. That's the plan. Is it double portal or is it triple portal? It's single portal for now from MasterLeaf. He's just going lots more descents. Now, of course, the ideal window of opportunity... Oh, Wookibert, you so good. You so good. He's like, I'm not going more eco. I got one refinery. I'm going to go air tower. Why? I like venoms. Venoms kill descents. Descents don't kill venoms. Easy peasy. Do the math. Wookibert making a good call. Making a very good call for sure. If he would have tried to go more eco, there may have been an opportunity for MasterLeaf to do more damage. He's going to be trying to dive in on this Black Hand squad, but he's going to get most of it. Not quite enough to actually do it all, as my phone decides to ring there for, basically no reason. I've been getting a lot of just dead calls where you pick it up, it's a strange number that you don't recognize, you pick it up and it's just empty. And not even like a robot on the other end, a machine with a recording telling you that you need to check your credit score, or that somebody has a great rate for the credit card that you don't have. And you're like, no, I don't want whatever services you're offering. And they keep calling you back. And instead of that, it's just loneliness on the other end, like some guy that's just too scared to speak up. And he's always calling from different states. At any rate, Dirty Dutch going to be pushing in here. He's like, hey, BikeRush, remember that time we almost had a fight? Well, let's actually have that fight right here, right now, as BikeRush going to be pushing on forward. Bike Buggy streaming out from him, and it's going to be overwhelming Dirty Dutch, but this is potentially opening up a great opportunity for MasterLeaf to get in here. These are the team plays that we love to see in team tournaments, and BikeRushOwnz may not have actually very much to deal with the descent. Wookibert, can he deal with the Seeker tanks? We will see. As Bike's going to be coming in, Dirty Dutch and MasterLeaf may be able to take this to a 3-1 right here, right now. There's the pull from BikeRush. He needs to stay on top of his control. One harvester does go down. He's still got 2. He's still got enough. He's not out of it just yet as Dirty Dutch, he's pushing forward, cleans up the Venom. A nice team play here from Team DGAF. And no, they have not won just yet. That is not the objective, but they have damaged BikeRush while Wookibert doesn't have anything inside of his main base. He's got just a couple of Scorpion tanks, but the Seekers starting to eat away at his economy, starting to take down those precious harvesters. Does he have enough? The answer thus far is yes. MasterLeaf still not doing super crazy good on the eco front. Why? It's just one base, but he's almost up to that saturated income. He's going to be moving if he can secure himself blue tib either here or here. That's definitely going to be great. Wookibert, he's got the double income rolling. He's going to be fine. He lost, I think, only one harvester, and he was able to push that attack back without too much trouble. BikeRushOwnz had to sell his power plant to try to escape the damage, and that is, of course, devastating. As an MCV, I'm assuming... Yeah. If you sell off the War Factory and you don't have an MCV coming out... Oh, man, if BikeRush would have misclicked right there, like, accidentally, like... told, you know, maybe a Scorpion tank or something to finish building. It comes out instead, sells off the War Factory, and then it looks around and he's like, oh, I just beat myself in this game. Buggy's going to be running defense as BikeRushOwnz trying to reestablish himself. A couple of buggies from BikeRush, a couple of buggies from Wookibert going to be keeping him in this game. And actually they're pulling everything over to the left side. Hopefully it's not a defensive measure because there's not that much going to be coming in from DirtyDutch, but more importantly, you do need to worry about the forces coming in from MasterLeaf. And now the BikeRush is up to actually having an MCV. He can kind of respond to these forces at least a little bit, but losing more economy would definitely not be good, as one harvester will most likely be going down. He can sacrifice the bikes for that. The second one may be able to escape. It's going to be close either way. A couple of more bikes coming in for DirtyDutch. He kills virtually all of the harvesters. There's only one that just now popped out for BikeRushOwnz. Is Wookibert going to be getting pushed back from the front lines, but MasterLeaf just has secret tanks. He will be able to trade fairly well against the buggies, but can he actually get the kill on the harvesters? The slow tech up is happening for Wookibert. He's slowly pushing that tech further and further up to that operation center. Well, back up to the operation center. Could be going for another air tower, but most likely just going to be going for that tier 3 for those higher tech units and potentially the upgrades to help him survive in this game. DirtyDutch has been able to establish himself on the blue Tiberium. Getting that double income is going to be so important in powering him ahead of BikeRushOwnz. If BikeRushOwnz goes for green tib, DirtyDutch may have an opportunity to just simply overwhelm BikeRushOwnz on the right side. More secret tanks coming out for MasterLeaf. He doesn't actually have any income beyond just this one base, so in another 45 seconds to a minute, whenever that tib starts to dry up, he needs to make something happen. He sounds the horn. He calls over DirtyDutch. He's like, hey, let's push this guy out. We need this blue tib. We need to shut down this tier 3, and is he... No, he's not going for tier 4. He doesn't actually have very much. He's not going for upgrades either. He probably can't afford very much. His best option is to probably try to go for obelisks, which is, I'm assuming, is what he's building, but can he actually make it happen? He's going to be losing so much in the meantime while the obelisk goes down, and then an obelisk only covers a pretty fair area, but does it cover enough? Will it actually stop the secret tanks? As BikeRushOwnz slowly going to be responding to the right side of the map, but he's only got Cabal squads. That's not going to be enough to actually stop Team dgaf, FU, and there's going to be the obelisk going to be pushing back the secret tanks for sure, but can they push over to the left side and do more damage? Oh my word, BikeRushOwnz once again going to be selling off his MCV. He's like, hey, I'm back up to that eco, baby. I'm back up to that double war factory. That's exactly what I need. And BikeRushOwnz, he can still survive a little while on that one base eco with the double war factory. Kind of all in again. It's kind of weird to call it an all in after he rebuilt his MCV, and it's certainly a very aggressive play. It's a very dangerous strategy, but at this point, Wookibert has been defeated, BikeRushOwnz is out, and suddenly Team MasterLeaf and DirtyDutch DGAFFU are up 3-1 in a game-winning, in a match-winning position against BikeRushOwnz and Wookibert. Can they do it? Wookibert and BikeRush is an extremely powerful team, and they are not one to be trifled with, but can they do it? Let's find out in game number 6, which takes us to Tournament Shaft. Now spawning in the north, the team that just lost that previous game. They're up against the ropes, which seems kind of weird considering the team composition. On the left side, one half of BikeBert, blue nod, Wookibert. On the right side, red black hand, BikeRushOwnz. In the bottom left, cyan, Traveler 59, no Descent Rush it looks like. MasterLeaf. And in the bottom right corner, yellow, black hand, this is DirtyDutch! This is where it could all come down to. Game number 6. Can the team in the north even things up? BikeBert, they have one last game. If they win, they get an opportunity to actually take home $300. If they lose, $75 apiece, $150. And now, DirtyDutch and MasterLeaf. They don't want to mess this up. They're up 3-2 in the finals. That match point advantage. No all-ins thus far. No descent rush. Just straight up macro play, but with a twist. Flame Tank, a Reckoner is on the way. Flame Tank potentially, nope, not going to be moving out for Wookibert. Instead, is he going double Black Hand Reckoner? It's single Black Hand Reckoner, potentially just to fake out, trying to force a really strong reaction. BikeRush tries to clear the middle with that squad, while the Reckoner is going to be pushing on down. MasterLeaf is like, hey, we got trouble. We got danger. Can you help me out? He pings it. And there, DirtyDutch actually grabbing a couple of tib spikes, but he's up to that double War Factory play, which is really quite nice. And by double War Factory, I mean double Refiner. I've said that twice already. As a Refiner, we're going to be getting targeted down. Black Hand Squad inside. The DPS is pretty low, but it might actually be enough. The repair, no, the Engineer will save it. And BikeRushOwnz and Wookibert, their opening not really doing all that much. It forced an Engineer, that's 500 credits, which is nice, but can they actually do anything more than that? Even the Seeker Tank ends up surviving as the Buzzer's Hive goes down. And some nice control from MasterLeaf, going to be saving his Seeker Tanks, not letting them go down. The aggression has been shut down. Wookibert surely behind a little bit, but maybe not too far behind just yet. BikeRushOwnz going to be going for the safe expansion. Of course, not a whole lot of ways to kind of, swing around the back and harass that area. Not towards his opponent either. Which, again, BikeRush is normally the guy who's, pushing towards his opponent. But in this case, everyone wants to go for the safer expansions. MasterLeaf wants to go for descents and for fast legs to start getting it on the way before he moves for his expansion. Definitely a good, safe choice in the north. Single Seeker Tank sees the sell-off of that War Factory. And that should be triggering MasterLeaf that the MCV isn't in the main base. He should, of course, know where it is. And this tip spike should be providing that vision quite nicely. DirtyDutch going to be taking a bit of damage. A couple of bikes are going to be coming in, but buggy support is really the only thing that's left here. As actually, no, there were a couple of bikes down in the south, and DirtyDutch, he may have actually just survived that with all of his harvesters. He's still got 5 here. He probably didn't build a 6, or at least not just yet. And he may have actually survived that in quite nice fashion, just taking a bit of damage on one of the harvesters, but not enough to actually kill it off. Wookibert, with the forward attack point, could be able to start streaming out just a solid number of Scorpion tanks. His main base is almost exhausted, which means he needs to start getting up that natural expansion economy. He needs to get something to fuel him into the later stages of this game. Operations Center going down for BikeRushOwnz. He's up to Tier 2. And MasterLeaf, he's pushing forward as well. He's not going for the safe expansion, while the Nerve Center does get dropped down. Beacon getting thrown down by BikeRush, and actually this is a lot of descents moving in. MasterLeaf, he's going to be looking to do that damage and supported again by DirtyDutch. Even a couple of Buzzer squads in here to help deal with any rocket squads, or even if there were Cabals out on the field, they would be dealt with as Shredder turrets. Are they going to be enough? The sell-off from a BikeRushOwnz. MasterLeaf going in for the harvesters. The crushes, are they going to be good enough? They're not going to be able to deal with the Scorpion tanks, which is now going to be the transfer of the threat to descent, and the Buzzers have been dealt with, but the Scorpion tanks stand strong. They're mostly unopposed. It's mostly Cabal squads, which means the Scorpion tanks should be able to clean up this last harvester, as there's not a lot of rockets here. And goodbye harvester number 3. BikeRushOwnz economy is in absolute shambles. He's shot. He's nearly dead, as BikeRushOwnz has virtually nothing left to stand for himself. He's got no production facilities. He's got no economy, and he's got virtually no units as well. So few squads actually out on the map does BikeRushOwnz have. He's got nothing. Wookibert trades out. He's like, I gotta tap out, man. This is all you, 1v2. And suddenly, MasterLeaf with cultists out on the front line, grabbing Seeker tanks. Can he do it? He's pushing forward. BikeRushOwnz will surely be able to hold just the attack of 6 vehicles pushing in from MasterLeaf, but it's more about the follow-up the next couple of minutes. As DirtyDutch can pressure on one side and MasterLeaf can pressure on the other. The Redeemer is going to be that saving grace. There's the sell-off of the MCV. The Engineer, is it for that Redeemer to be immediately tossed in there? It's very likely. There's going to be the sell-off of the Redeemer Engineering Facility, the Black Hand Squad, and the Engineer potentially both jumping inside of that Redeemer. Or is BikeRushOwnz, nope, the tip spike is gone. He's going to be jumping inside of that Redeemer. He needs to make some magic happen as the Seekers do all go down, and they trade out their lives trying to kill that last Harvester, but it does survive. The eco for BikeRushOwnz remains in a terrible, terrible position as he has almost nothing. Oh my word, does BikeRushOwnz actually have just this one Harvester for economy? It's on basically a pixel of HP. It could be sneezed at and it would actually die. There's the surround, 270 degrees or so. No, that's actually more like 180 as the Redeemer getting targeted down. The Rage Gen has already fired off. The Scorpion tanks going to be pressing on forward, but beam cannons are the things you actually have to worry about as they're going to be tanking away and sapping the life from that Redeemer, capturing a few of the infantry units with cultists, because why not, says MasterLeaf and BikeRushOwnz, being beaten back from his primary assault. He's got triple Hand of Nod pumping out forces. He's got another Harvester. That's good news for him. But he has almost no Tiberium on his field that he actually has control of, and with a 3-1 situation, BikeRush and DirtyDutch may be losing this tournament. They may be losing the opportunity to take home $300 as Wookibert and BikeRush. The Redeemer, it falls, and BikeRushOwnz has basically only infantry left. He is so close to just being straight up out of this event. There's the sell-off, and Wookibert and BikeRushOwnz, they're up against the ropes. MasterLeaf and DirtyDutch, can they close it out? They have to deal with infantry. They have to deal with basically only infantry left from BikeRushOwnz. He's still got this Harvester over here. That's the only thing really fueling his economy. A Tib Spike as well, and BikeRushOwnz has been defeated. MasterLeaf and DirtyDutch take the Championship 2v2 tournament, and they take themselves home $300. A congratulations to them. In fine fashion, they take a tournament victory away from Wookibert and BikeRushOwnz. MasterLeaf and DirtyDutch, $150 richer each. A big congrats to them, but a big thank you to everyone who showed up. BikeRush and Wookibert putting up some good games for sure. The semifinals were a blast to watch, and the finals maybe even better. As that will do it for this series, for this tournament. What a game. It felt like much longer than just 7 minutes, or about 8 minutes, as that was a pretty surprising end to the tournament, and somehow, some way, that is all she wrote. Of course, a big thank you to Scott O'Neill and the Game Replays crew for putting this on. Scott O'Neill for donating $500 one way or the other, and that will do it. Thank you all very much for watching, and this is Sybert signing out.